The Galactic Council chamber fell into an eerie silence as the holographic display flickered to life above the central dais. Ambassador Zeftar of the Altarian Consortium adjusted his thermal regulators nervously, his crystalline features reflecting the pale blue light emanating from the projection. Around the circular chamber, representatives from 47 different species shifted uncomfortably in their varied seating arrangements. "Esteemed colleagues," Zeftar began, his voice carrying the harmonic undertones that marked his species' formal speech patterns, "we have received disturbing intelligence from the Sol system." The hologram sharpened, revealing a sleek metallic structure extending several kilometers into the void of space. It was clearly artificial, yet unlike anything in the Council's extensive databases of known technologies. The human space station rotated slowly, its angular design both alien and somehow menacing. High Counselor Vexani of the Catherian Empire leaned forward, her 6 eyes focusing intently on the display. "What exactly are we looking at, Ambassador?" "According to our long-range sensors," Zeftar replied, manipulating the holographic controls with practiced ease, the humans have constructed what they call a magnetic acceleration cannon, or Railgun, on this orbital platform. A collective murmur rippled through the chamber. The Galactic Council had been monitoring humanity's technological progress ever since their species had achieved faster-than-light communication 3 solar cycles ago. Most Council members had dismissed them as another primitive species, barely worthy of observation protocols. "Surely this is some form of primitive kinetic weapon," scoffed General Thrakmos, the militant Bordorian representative whose species had been the galaxy's primary military contractors for millennia. "Our energy shields can deflect any solid projectile." Zeftar's thermal regulators dimmed slightly, the Altarian equivalent of a grimace. "That's what we thought initially. However, our analysis suggests something far more concerning." The hologram zoomed in on the weapon's barrel, revealing the intricate magnetic coil systems running along its length. Technical specifications scrolled alongside the image in the universal script. "The humans appear to have developed the ability to accelerate ferromagnetic projectiles to approximately 15% of light speed," Zeftar continued. "But that's not the most troubling aspect." Senior analyst Quindell of the Pacifist Coalition spoke up, her melodic voice carrying a note of confusion. "What could be more concerning than such destructive capability?" Yesterday they conducted their first test firing. The chamber's ambient temperature seemed to drop several degrees as Zeftar highlighted a section of space several light hours from the human station. The display showed a perfect sphere of destruction where an asteroid field had once existed. The projectile was a simple tungsten rod, approximately 2 meters in length, Zeftar explained. Upon impact with the target asteroid, it released energy equivalent to a Class 7 antimatter detonation. But here's what has our xenobiologists baffled. The humans achieved this using nothing but magnetism and kinetic energy. High Counselor Vexani's primary eyes widened in disbelief. "That's impossible. The energy requirements alone would necessitate the complete conversion of several solar masses." "That's what we thought," Zeftar agreed, "until we analyzed their power source." The hologram shifted to show the interior of the human station. At its core sat a contained star, a miniature fusion reactor that shouldn't have been possible according to every known law of physics and engineering. "They call it a stellarator," Zeftar said quietly. "They've somehow managed to contain and harness stellar-level fusion reactions using magnetic fields that operate on principles we don't understand." The silence that followed was deafening. For millennia, the Galactic Council had operated under the assumption that there existed certain technological barriers that no species could overcome without specific evolutionary advantages. The Catherian Empire dominated through their natural ability to manipulate antimatter. The Bordorians excelled in warfare due to their hive-mind tactical coordination. The Altarians had become the galaxy's premier diplomats because of their empathic abilities. Humans, from all observable data, were average in every measurable way. They had no natural psychic abilities, no specialized organs for energy manipulation, no hive-mind coordination. They were simply persistent. How did they overcome the magnetic containment paradox? Whispered Dr. Felomar, the Council's chief physicist. We've been working on that problem for 10,000 years. Zeftar manipulated the display again, showing a human engineer working on the containment systems. The being appeared utterly ordinary, bipedal, carbon-based, wearing primitive environmental protection gear. According to their own technical documentation, which they've made freely available on their global information network, Zeftar said with barely concealed amazement. They simply refused to accept that it was impossible. The chamber erupted in confused chatter. Species that had never agreed on anything were suddenly united in their bewilderment. "Ambassador?" High Counselor Vexani called out, her voice cutting through the noise. "What are the humans' intentions with this weapon?" Zeftar's thermal regulators pulsed in what might have been admiration. According to their official statements, they plan to use it for asteroid mining and space construction projects. They see it as a tool, not a weapon. "A tool, General." Thrakmos sputtered. "That device could obliterate any fleet in the galaxy." "Yes," Zeftar agreed. "But they built it to move rocks." The implications hung heavy in the recycled atmosphere of the chamber. Humanity had accidentally created the most devastating weapon in galactic history while trying to solve an engineering problem. "What do we do?" Counselor Vexani asked quietly. Zeftar looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "we should consider that we've been asking the wrong questions all along." He gestured to the holographic display showing the human station, its railgun pointed not at any potential enemy, but at a distant asteroid field ripe for harvesting. "Every species in this chamber achieved greatness by accepting our limitations and working within them. But humans—" Zeftar paused, his thermal regulators brightening with something approaching wonder. "Humans seem to view limitations as merely suggestions." The galaxy had indeed gone silent, but it wasn't in fear. It was in the stunned realization that they had just witnessed the birth of something entirely unprecedented. Humanity had arrived,